What's up, y'all? Welcome to another season of the football show with no name. My name is Clint, or as you can see on the screen right there, the champ trophy's back here. Doesn't want to talk about that because that is our league that everybody wants to win. So, welcome everybody into another season. It was a wild week one with some fantastic early games. Boy, oh boy, that Steelers-Bengals game. But all right, so welcome in everybody. We got Big Ferg, we got Lauren with us. Danye's on the ones and twos in the background, and the commish Merrill Holloway will be joining us later. We are going to run through a few things today. First, we're going to talk a little news and see what's going on in the NFL and what everybody's talking about. And then we're going to talk about, like our league. We just had a 16-team draft for the football show with no name. Guys, can we talk about that for a second? Like 16 teams.
You want to know what here's the deal. I had like a half a bottle of wine before we started drafting.
Oh, geez.
I don't remember going to bed. That draft was so long. I was done. I think I left to go to 7-Eleven and get Fig Newtons at some point.
Wow.
Well,
I will say.
No, that's right down the street.
I will say I've never done a 16-team draft before, and I've never used Sleeper for a draft before. And I very much enjoyed the Sleeper app. So not a sponsor, hashtag not a sponsor. However, it's a great app, and it's a great platform, and it seems to work very seamlessly. I don't know if you guys have ever had any problems with it. All right.
I didn't like it for Dynasty because next year maybe. I just got to figure it out. But for redraft leagues, I liked it.
Yeah, are you talking about the league that we're all in together?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, so is that a real dynasty league? We can talk about that off the air. I know it's an 8-keeper league, but so I don't know if it's real dynasty. But I mean, it's run, I guess, like a real dynasty.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the thing. Okay. All right. So Ferg, let's talk about what happened in the NFL this week, and how do we start off any other way but with your boy, Dak Prescott.
My boy? Why gotta be my boy?
I thought you were gonna say
how much you love the Cowboys.
My boy.
I know how much you love the Cowboys.
I'm the official Cowboy hater here, so it's my job to start off and talk about the Cowboys.
It is indeed.
I mean, they stink.
Yeah.
They stink.
Yeah.
And if you watched the game, you saw they stink.
Well, okay.
I'm not really sure. I'm gonna throw this to, if there are any Cowboy fans on here that want to jump in the chat, send us a question, call, they want to come on and defend their team, please do. I simply give you facts. You watch the game. If you watched 17 minutes of that game, then you realize that the Cowboys probably have a shot at the number 1 pick next year in the 2022 draft.
Okay. In all fairness, left tackle's out.
Yeah.
Right? Then the replacement left tackle got hurt, right, and went out. And then Dak goes out, right?
Okay.
So here's the thing that I don't get. And we'll talk about this later, a little bit later in the fantasy segment a little bit more. Zeke was 5.5 yards a carry, and they stopped running.
Zeke has a Jerry curl. That's why.
They stopped. He's got to play on the O-line. I don't know.
Jerry curl in a man bag.
Did you hear Jerry Jones once? They're not going to put him on. They're not going to put Dak on IR. They're going to super glue his thumb and then put him back out.
It's very Russell Wilson, very selfish, very, I don't know. That's Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones is an awful human being.
He looked bad before that, though. So, he's going to look any better 4 weeks from now? He was bad.
Well, okay.
They're going to really be bad about it.
So let's talk about his replacement, right? So his replacement is Cooper Rush, right? He played last year. How many games?
I haven't even heard of Cooper Rush.
He played He played the Halloween night game against Minnesota, and they won that game. He threw the last second touchdown.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So he did play. Let's see how many games. He had 1 game, 422 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick.
1 game.
I mean, I'm not saying he's Dak. He's as good as Dak. I'm not saying that.
Did Minnesota make the playoffs last year?
Minnesota?
Yeah. Did Minnesota make the playoffs?
I think so.
Did they?
Did they make the playoffs?
I think so.
I try to block that out because what happens every time they make the playoffs with the Saints?
Yeah, they play the Saints and they lose.
Yeah.
I mean, they win.
Yeah, they do.
They almost lose, I should say.
Yeah, they should lose.
Because that game at the Dome, whoa.
Which one?
Stephon Diggs game.
Oh, the dirty hit game was a bad one too.
Yeah. Oh, that was one of the worst no calls in NFL history.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, all I'm saying is give the Cowboys a little bit just to see what Cooper Rush. You never know, bro. I mean, Zeke looked good. Zeke looked good. Tell me I'm wrong. Zeke looked good, right?
No,
he didn't work out for fantasy like he should have. However, he was averaging 5.5 yards a carry, bro, or 5 yards a carry. It's one of those. And they stopped giving him the ball.
Because he's fat and slow.
But he was not fat and slow.
He was fat and slow because the scheme made him look faster than he really was. But
he's fat and slow. Dak. He can't. What is he? They don't have it. Oh God, that team is a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess, and it starts at the top.
It's Jared's fault.
Yeah, we all know that. That's the only reason Dak's not going on the IR. It's the reason that the Cowboys never make the fucking playoffs.
Yeah,
So it's just, it's Jerry Jones, and we should not expect anything less. Anybody else?
That's enough.
The Cowboys.
Wasted breath on the Cowboys. Who's next on the list?
I'll go with that. All right. So the next on the list, Ferg, is what you asked to have on the list for today's show, and that would be how bad Green Bay looked.
Yes.
Y'all want to talk about that for a minute?
That made me so happy.
I'm sure.
Take it away, Lauren. You saw it.
So, ladies, from a lady's perspective, the first thing I noticed, I have to agree with Shannon Sharp that Aaron Rodgers is just a horrible person. So I see him come out, and I was like, and I know this because I actually went makeup shopping last weekend for the first time in 5 years, and there's all this crap you're supposed to put on your face and stuff, and I was like, Aaron, he's got to put some stuff up in his eye. Like he looks 10 years older than Brady. Easy. He looks like he's got some Graves' disease, like gray hair, and he tried to block one of the Minnesota defenders and fell on his face.
No,
he's a train wreck. But that's what happens when you wanted the big paycheck and you don't want anyone to throw to.
Well, the Brady thing, Brady hasn't eaten meat in 7 years. So
avocado ice cream.
Aaron Rodgers looks terrible in every way possible, and he has no one to throw the ball to.
He looks like Con Air and Nicolas Cage.
Is not the scheme. Lauren has told us it's the foundation.
Yeah, it's the foundation.
Doesn't have proper foundation.
He doesn't.
Proper blush. I don't know what else he needs. Not using
he needs
right
a lot.
Brushes.
He needs some stuff. He needs to get a haircut, shave his head too.
Okay, so speaking of all of this makeup talk, where's the dress?
Oh, I'm glad that you asked that question. So I have, first of all, I didn't get home.
Hold on, for people unaware.
Oh yeah.
While we ask about the dress.
Yes.
So there was a bet made last year.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us the bet, Lauren?
It was, now it's been so, I said the Patriots would make it to the Super Bowl because I felt that Bill Belichick can do anything, which I'm sure we'll talk about soon. It hurt my heart this weekend. And the Patriots didn't even make the playoffs. So I should have drafted in a dress, but instead I will come out next week in a dress. The thing is, I have a wedding this weekend and I can't reveal the dress yet. I will wear it next week after the wedding is over. That's why I have the dress.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Knowing what you know now about who we're going to have on next Wednesday, are you still wearing a dress?
Yes.
Oh, no. I didn't even think about that.
There is a debt that needs to be paid.
I'm going to be so embarrassed.
I'm going to be
so embarrassed.
And we will reveal.
I'm gonna have to leave work early just to come home and get. I'm leaving work early just to come home and get makeup because I'm gonna be so embarrassed
as well.
All right, so
pretty sure there was a tiara.
So everybody, we will let you guys know who we're gonna be having.
It's a very low cut dress, Jeff. It works.
Oh geez. Okay,
so now I didn't even think about that. Oh my God.
We're going to be having guests on the show this year. We have 4 already lined up. We have a big guest for next week, next Wednesday.
See, I'm blushing because I'm starstruck and now embarrassed.
And so we have a big guest, and we may reveal who it is at the end of the show, or you may have to follow us on the YouTube channel or on the socials. And the socials, the football show with No Name. And then we had to get creative with Facebook and whatnot. So we'll have to put those in the chat so everybody can see it. And we will let you guys know who we're going to have on next Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a big one.
I promise you our guests will not do you like Michael Parsons did.
Hey.
All right. It won't go like that.
All right, so let's stick with the Packers for a second. So they did not look great, right? They did not look great at all. But the running back situation did look pretty balanced. A.J. Dillon actually had out-touched Aaron Jones by 6.
That was my problem with it.
But rushes wise, I mean, Aaron Jones had more reception or had more looks and more targets, stuff like that. So we'll talk about a lot of that in the fantasy section. But the running back situation didn't look bad. Obviously, he's missing wide receivers. Christian Watson.
Ooh.
All right. Ball here. It's where it's supposed to go. Like, poor kid, man. Like, he felt like shit. Aaron Rodgers was like, you saw the reaction. Everybody out there saw the reaction of Aaron Rodgers when when he dropped that ball.
So, as bad as their offense looked, my only question as to why with Green Bay was why Alexander doesn't follow Justin Jefferson around the field when Justin Jefferson's going for 180 yards. Even if he doesn't normally do that, and maybe I don't watch enough Green Bay football to know whether he travels with the best guy. Once he hits 100, before he starts hitting the gritty 3, 4, 5 times a game, you got to be like, hey, you got that guy. No matter what coverage you got that guy.
Look, man,
he's never lined up on the same side as him.
There are 4 legitimate wide receivers that it does not matter. Right? You got JJ, Justin Jefferson, you got Jamar Chase, you got Devontae Adams, and you got Tyreek Hill. Nothing matters as far as who's guarding them. They can get free no matter what. You saw Devontae Adams had 17 targets Sunday? 13 catches?
Him and Derek love each other.
But that's just not hit. Like Jamar Chase, he had 2 touchdowns. One of them they didn't even dispute, and he should have got called a touchdown, right? So the dude went out there. Every one of those guys went out there, did their thing. Tyreek is the only one that had less than 100 yards, right? But they're all 4 are unguardable. So I understand what you're saying, but
you got to try.
I think
you got to try.
I think this weekend they're going to come out and beat Green Bay that everyone thinks is going to go to the Super Bowl. It's like last season when they started and the Saints beat them everyone was like, oh my God, Green Bay. But then they come out the next week and they dominate. So I feel like it's like Aaron has to have his week of remembering what it's like to play on a team and then next week it just goes right back to the machine.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I really want to see that guy fall.
Yeah. It's just you can't guard certain people.
Yeah.
And, Aaron.
But you can scheme. You can make it slightly difficult. At some point,
if you're Bill Belichick,
I have a Pro Bowl cornerback. At some point, I got to put my Pro Bowl cornerback on your best player. And if I got to bring the safety over the top, then I got to bring the safety over the top. And you're going to have to beat me with Thielen, or Cook's just going to have to run wild. But this dude over here, if they would have kept throwing it to him, he would have kept it. So he was headed to a 250 day till it just stopped.
He's unguardable, brother. He's unguardable, man. That's just period. He's just that guy. When the youngins now say I'm him, that's JJ.
It's Justin.
He's pretty awesome.
Yeah, dude. He was
I noticed that you shot out 4 receiver names though, and I noticed you didn't say Cup at all.
Oh, you know why he didn't say Cooper Kupp, right?
Didn't say Diggs either.
You know why he didn't say it? Because if you look at the score from our game last week.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Okay.
No. I'm just saying he's not. He's always he has more contested catches than those other 3 because he's more guarded. That's all I'm saying.
Who, Kupp?
Yeah.
But you ever say another wide receiver list on this show without saying Cooper Kupp's name on it ever?
You know what? That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm saying the Cooper Kupp is not unguardable. He just makes difficult catches and he makes people look stupid. The other guys, look at the tape, bro. JJ there's nobody near him when he's making. So
who's
catches.
The best receiver in football? We're about to deviate for a second. I see a first deviation of the year from the schedule. So now we're going to talk about it.
All right. So are we putting this as a real football perspective or a fantasy football perspective?
I'll let you give real football perspective first.
So real football perspective, I think, is Devontae Adams. Because he's physically bigger. He's as fast as everybody except for JJ. And he's taller. right? And he can make any play, he can make any catch.
I would say JJ.
I mean, I don't have anything to say to dispute that. I'm just saying Devontae's done it for.
Yeah.
I mean, now he did have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, if I could reserve my answer until the end of the year, and we'll see what he does with Derek Carr. But I would say Devontae Adams just as a complete overall receiver, but Justin Jefferson is more unguardable.
Right.
So, I mean, just like Tyreek, you can't guard Tyreek. So Tyreek's only limitation is Tua, and that's where Jeff comes in.
Yeah, I would say Tyreek is the most unguardable wide receiver.
Yeah, Tyreek is Usain Bolt.
Nothing that you can do with that.
Yeah, nothing. There's nothing you can do with him. Jalen Waddle just doesn't have the moves or the.
But he got the speed.
He's taller than Tyreek. Tyreek has that short man, like, get it, like speed.
I know we just talked shit about him 7.5 minutes ago, but if you want to let Dak go ahead and walk to South Florida next year, and pair Dak with Waddle and Hill, I think I could sign up for that. I think I could be interested in that. As Uncle Shannon would say,
I bet you could.
That would be a good one.
I bet you could, and you still lose to the Bills.
This is going to be Baltimore Sunday.
Dude, the Bills are unstoppable.
Lauren, write that down. Write that down. It's the hot take. We ain't gotta wait till minute 55. Write that down. It's the hot take.
We can start this up.
I got your hot take. I got a hot take for you.
We can start this right now, Ferg. Ferg's upset of the week. We can start it right now.
So, I'm gonna show you mine. My upset of the week. Come to the dome, bitches. Come to the dome. Tampa Bay time.
Is that an upset though?
Yes, it is. Of course it is.
It's always handle Tampa Bay at home.
I mean, but still, it's Tom Brady. No, but this time it's like if it's Jameis and Tom Brady and not Drew and Tom Brady, like you got to give it to Tampa Bay.
All right.
So and I don't know if Kamara's hurt, whatever, beat up. We got old Ingram on the field, but yeah, I'm gonna take North. He can't come in that dome.
Lauren, write it down.
All right.
You got to write these down.
Saints. Ferg says the Dolphins over the Ravens. Write it down. Upsets in the. I don't even know if you'd call that Dolphins. We'll have to look. Hold on. Let me look at the spread of that Dolphins game.
And it's in Baltimore, isn't it?
Again,
what's the weather? Hold on, let me check the weather.
Tua, they have Lamar. Nothing else matters. We play with Tua.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be drunk in this wedding, laughing at you. All right, so that's no rain Saturday. I'm like 15 minutes from the stadium, so that's why I'm checking.
All right, so it's Baltimore by 3.5. So it'd be a slight upset. So we'll say that's Ferg's upset of the week.
Okay.
And then we'll make this a segment for you guys. How about that?
All right. I'm gonna take Saints.
That sounds fun. All right, so
we're gonna keep track.
The Saints are 2.5 point underdogs.
That's right. Michael Thomas is back
in New Orleans, but I'll tell you what. I was talking to a friend of mine that he will be on the show. He played in the NFL for a bit, and he was a wide receiver. And I was talking to him the other day about how Michael Thomas. I don't know if his routes were as crisp, but his hands, holy crap, his hands look good. Those 2 touchdown passes, he just grabbed and just snatched down.
Okay, so I have a confession. I live near Baltimore, so I didn't see the game because my channels are when one of the games I really enjoyed was either I have to make myself say this Commanders or because I keep calling them the Skins.
That was a good game.
Washington football team.
That was a good game.
That or the Ravens, and I put that Ravens game on for about 2 seconds, and I was like, "This is stupid."
All right, Lauren. So step 1, you need better friends that have logins for Red Zone that you can use. All right, so we can talk about that off the air. But you need better friends, and because you need to be able to see this shit. Like
it's
Red Zone.
I used to do it on Reddit. They stopped doing the NFL streams on Reddit. You used to be able to watch. I'd sit there and flip through them.
Look, I know a few. I know a guy that knows a guy. You know what I mean? So we're good. We're good on all that. All right. So a couple more things news wise. We're just gonna skim over this real quick. The Jets are the Jets. They still are starting Flacco week 2. Any surprises here? I mean, Mike White, we know Zach Wilson will be out till week 4, so anything surprise here?
No, he's awful. He's awful.
30-3.
Yeah, no, it's not good. It's not good at all.
He wasn't good when he was in the Super Bowl. He's like the Ravens make it the Super Bowl guys like Trent Dilfer, But yeah, no, it's ridiculous. And people around here think he's like the greatest thing ever. Takes a huge paycheck, screws his team. Like he's awful.
Yeah. The Delaware Blue Hens, baby. All right. Yeah. Shout out to the Delaware Blue Hens. All right, so we skimmed over that. Now let's talk about something that was a big storyline coming into the year. Week 1 matchup between the Browns and the Panthers. Now, this doesn't – Ferg is probably going to roll his eyes a million times because he lives down in Charlotte. He's sick of hearing about Baker and the Panthers, but we are going to suffer. He's going to suffer through this next 3 or 4 minutes or so we can talk about them.
I get all it puts me in the feels.
So I felt bad. I like Baker. Like,
I do too.
And I think it's mostly built on the.
I put us on accident. All right, sorry.
I think it's mostly based on the commercials. Because how do you not like that guy after seeing those commercials?
Because he stinks.
My issue with it is
because he stinks.
Not talking about as a football player.
I don't know how we talk about this, Jeff, without getting into like wanting to kill each other. But my issue is who the Browns traded for and why. And so
tell the people, Lauren.
Tell the people how you really feel.
I'm not going to be into a team that pays that much money for someone who sexually assaults 22 plus women. So I wanted Baker to get his revenge. I wanted him to come out and be like, this is what happens when you trade me and you bring in a fucking sex offender, dude. And he did not do it.
Now,
he broke my heart.
I don't disagree with you. I was rooting for Baker. I live in North Carolina, have all my life. You would think I'd be a Panthers fan, but I could give 2 shits about the Panthers. But I was rooting for the guy. I was rooting for the Panthers in that situation, only because when he had his press conference before going into the season,
right,
and he was asked about this matchup, and he said, "I want to fuck him up." Like, I like that.
I like Baker. His commercials are great too.
No, and the commercials are fantastic. Ferg shaking his head. You're around it, Ferg. I'm sure you're tired of fucking hearing it. That's all you listen to.
My sister, if Vanna's out there listening right now, she hates Baker. So she's with you, Jeff.
Well, let me say something about the Panthers. They did not give McCaffrey the ball enough. Now, I don't know if they're being careful. I don't know if it's a scheme. I don't know if Ferg is right here and Baker is trash, but they didn't give McCaffrey the ball enough.
You have watched.
Yeah.
You have watched for 4 years.
Yeah.
What have you seen?
Who's worse?
This dude is no better than.
Who's worse, Baker this year?
Daniel Jones.
Baker now or Super Cam last year? Come on, you got to do the I'm back. Like that was a
Baker
great.
now.
Yeah.
Baker now is worse. Because I know what Cam is. Cam is a goal line back, masquerading as a quarterback, and I don't expect him to drop back 30 times a game and hit somebody in the seam like he did Trimble. So even that was bowl coverage on Cleveland's man. But anyway,
all right,
I expect Baker as a number 1 pick in the last 5 to 6 years to be able to be average or adequate as an NFL quarterback, and he is neither.
Lauren, my answer would be Baker, for the simple fact that I watched Cam Newton throw the football. And I don't really think I need to say anything else because it was fucking terrible.
He's entertaining, I guess, but
what's entertaining about losing?
His outfits post-game, bro. That's it. End of story.
Yeah.
End of story. Okay.
No, you know who had the best though to this day? Fitzpatrick.
Oh, dude, with the hairy chest and the chain.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick's. I miss Fitzy.
He's better than Cam's pants on the way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Better than Cam's Versace pants.
Yeah, they were good. Burrow looked good too, man. I mean, Burrow has that swag too, man. So it's like, all right. So I do want to talk about something for Lauren that we didn't get to talk about pregame here. I want to throw this in here. Can we talk about what happened with the Broncos Seahawks game?
Ooh, that was bad.
I actually have that on the ass list, but if you want to go ahead and jump in.
Let's go ahead. Let's do it. We need like a song, Ferg's ass of the week.
Dude, so since Ferg, so Ferg's, what do you want to call this segment, bro? So whatever you want to call it. But
Cheeks. It's the Cheeks. It's Mr. Cheeks time.
What the fuck was either A, the coach, or B, Russell Wilson, thinking in these last 2.5 minutes?
It's the coach.
Yeah.
He was actually going to get the Ass of the Week award. There are a lot of players. Normally we trash players. We would trash Dak. We would trash Daniel Jones. Although Daniel Jones was actually pretty decent for an NFL quarterback this week, so we won't trash him. So we're going to give out the award to our first coach for the first time, which would be Paul Hackett. Mm-hmm. And like again, we keep referencing Uncle Shannon because you can see Uncle Shannon is our godfather. We do abide by the rules of Undisputed and Uncle Shannon when he says there is no fucking reason that you pay a dude $235 million to put your kicker out there and kick a 64-yard field goal.
No.
If Russell Wilson can't get 5 yards to at least give you a 50-plus yard field goal, then what the fuck is he doing?
All right, so I have a fun
I watched the broadcast with Peyton and Eli.
Yes.
And to watch Peyton metaphysically try to call a timeout over the last minute, like, what are you going to fucking tell him?
Yeah, he tried.
I heard Peyton lost his shit.
Yeah, he wasn't happy. So I have a fun stat for you, Ferg, about that last play. Brandon McManus, the kicker for the Broncos, right? Since 2018, he is one of the most accurate kickers. I mean, obviously there's Justin Tucker, but I think he's 4th on the list for 60-yard field goals in the last 4 NFL seasons. 3 NFL seasons. He has attempted 4. He has hit 0. And they decided to not go for it. Now, were they having much success running the ball? At times.
That's another fantasy point. Like, why the hell does Javonte Williams only get 4 touches?
7. He has 7 rushes. 7 rushes to Melvin Gordon.
Well, rushes. He got some catch. He got caught some passes. But he only rushed the ball 4 times in the second half.
No, well, he ran 7 times total for 53 yards, I think it was. Melvin Gordon had 12 carries, but Javonte had 11 catches on 13 targets.
All right, but I gotta say, you gotta throw out, because this is what surprised me about that game, was Geno Smith and their offense. I was like, watch it. I was like, did they just march down the field twice?
Yeah.
Like they just took it straight out. That was crazy.
And you know what's funny is you threw for almost as many yards as Geno Smith did.
Geno Smith.
Right? So he had, like 178 yards or something and 2 touchdowns. But he was.
If you listen to Pete Carroll and them talk during the week or after the game, they were running the exact same offense.
Oh, the exact same play
last year. Yep. It's just that Russell refused to check down to receivers and the tight ends. He never threw to the tight end in Seattle.
Well,
whereas they played 3 tight ends Monday night and they all caught passes. Even the 3rd string tight end caught a touchdown. So it's just a matter. It was there. Russell just wanted to push it down the field. Russ Cook. Let's Russ Cook.
Well, Geno said his priority is ball security. Right, which should be everybody's priority.
Geno's trying to keep his job.
He made
a re-up next year.
Well, look,
beautiful pass though into double coverage. Like he looked good.
Yeah,
he looked good.
Yeah,
I'm not picking him up, but he looked good.
I will say, Drew Lock is fucking terrible.
It's fucking terrible.
Okay, so if Geno Smith loses his job to Drew Lock, it's either injury, COVID, or Pete Carroll's going insane.
That's actually that's a good. You just brought up something. Are they doing the COVID rules this year? I didn't even.
Yeah, no. You still have to be. You have to be separated for 3 or 4 days or whatever it may be.
Still have the COVID shit. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think so.
I mean, they got some funky shit though. Like they don't actually test for it. So
they should just stop.
If you caught it and don't tell anybody, but if you catch it and you tell somebody. Now you fall into the program.
I feel like that's just going to be the way of the world now because it's like
don't ask, don't tell.
I will say this is a really important thing that I've learned about COVID because I got it beginning of August. Everybody, if you don't feel well, that sucks. Do not test until Monday. Your Sunday night. You want to test Sunday night because you want to hit the Monday 5 days at home thing. You don't want to be like a Friday, you got to
solid advice, Lauren.
Mondays are testing.
Solid pandemic
solid advice. And I will say I was getting ready to go to Florida, so I tested before I went to Florida. and tested positive and never had any symptoms. And I am the type of guy that's on the go. I hate sitting still. And so for me to have to sit still, it was tough. So anyway, so I'm assuming they still have the COVID rules. But
should have just went. He was gonna catch it in Florida anyway.
Yeah, everybody in Florida's had it.
Yeah, just fucking.
Oh yeah,
twice. Well, everyone in Florida twice.
They started it.
Yeah, they did. Texas. Florida.
So Lauren, I wanna hit on this because I meant to say something about it before we left the Green Bay topic. Before we jump into our league of record here, let's talk about that interview with Caleb Presley.
That is awesome.
So Barstool, if everybody's not aware, Barstool Sports, you can see him anywhere. Caleb Presley is an interviewer and one of their personalities, and he was interviewing Aaron Rodgers, and he always does dumb shit. And
he was asking some questions though about the vaccine.
It was some of it. It is comedy gold.
I'm surprised he sat there for that. Actually, I was kind of like, is he being real?
Lauren, I could not even when they started talking about insurance, and he was like, "Oh, so drafting a backup quarterback in the first round."
Yes, I was like, he just took it. He took it below the belt. I was like, and I love it because I hate Aaron Rodgers, but
and they were focusing in on his face, and Aaron Rodgers was just like.
I highly recommend that to anybody. Green Bay fans, you can watch it too. But anybody, it is awesome.
Yeah. So anywhere, IG, Facebook, Twitter, I'm sure it's all the same shit. It's Barstool Sports. Just look up Caleb Presley, and you'll see.
It's good.
It's super, super, super funny. Okay, now, Ferg, let's talk about your baby. What you put together on Sleeper for the. Let's talk about our league of record that we just had our draft. The football show with no name draft numero uno, which had 16 teams. Now, I will say, prequel, never going over 16 teams.
No.
The goal is to get more people involved, cut it down. 16 teams is tough. There's no free agents, and your teams aren't that great.
No.
Well, let's start with the goal of the 16
teams. If you get an injury, you're screwed.
This was because last year when we would talk about a league that me and Clint played in, that Merle was in. It's Merle's league. But Lauren wasn't in it or any of our other guests. So the goal was to get a league where anybody who participates in our show, plus people that watch us sometimes and listen or send in questions, had a chance to participate. So it's a little piece of almost every league that I'm in, as well as some relatives. Speaking of relatives, see Troy Ferguson in the comments. What's up, Unc? I see you. And also, I'm remiss, I forgot before we go any further, our new sponsor. We have a weekly sponsor this year. So our weekly sponsor this week is a tasteofadeline.com. It's an online bakery. Phone number is also listed in our scroll, 980-228-9131. Trust me, she makes it all. Cupcakes.
Hold on, does she make low-carb keto stuff?
Trust me, she dropped me off a sugar-free, gluten-free cake.
Oh, we're gonna have to talk then. It's hard to find the keto stuff, and that.
Well,
fantastic.
Well, Fur can't have none of that shit.
Yeah.
So Ryan, I do want to address this real quick in the comments. Ryan Hayes, we will get to your comment in our fantasy section, which will be later on in the show. We will definitely address your question. So I appreciate the question. Keep them coming, and we will answer anything you got. All right, so Ferg, let's keep talking about this draft that we had, man. Okay. So 16 teams is tough. So where did you draft, Ferg?
Where was I at? Was I in the middle?
You were before me. I think
I was in the middle.
Yep.
I honestly don't remember.
You know what? It's hard to remember.
I was in 15 drafts this year.
I did. I think you were either before or after me. I took Cooper Kupp. Who was your first pick?
Probably Derrick Henry or somebody.
Oh, right. I think you went before me.
Yeah, probably Derrick Henry.
And my first round pick was DeAndre, and that worked out. I lost.
I mean, it sounds like a lot. I feel like I was in the worst spot. I hate to be in the middle.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
First, but let me get Jonathan Taylor and suck it up, or let me be in the end.
DeAndre Swift,
control the trends, or.
Yep.
Get
the end is cool too. Last pick, I like last pick when you get first pick on the waivers week 1.
Look,
because you like it.
Let me say this real quick. In another fantasy league that I'm in, we drafted based on Wonderlic scores. So we have a 10-team league, and we sent out the Wonderlic test to everybody. And the better you finish, so the top scorer got to pick where they wanted to draft. So they didn't have to take one, they didn't have to take two, they could pick where they wanted to draft. Right. So I picked third, and I picked the last pick in our draft.
Yeah. That's the best one.
I didn't want one because I hate it. I love Jonathan Taylor, but I hate number one. I didn't want two because I don't want to pick Christian McCaffrey. I don't want that pressure. And so I know 10, I can get a DeAndre Swift, right? I can get an Alvin Kamara. I can maybe even get a Derrick Henry, right? And then on the wraparound, you can grab a Diggs or a Devontae Adams or something like that.
I don't care if Christian McCaffrey was round 20. I still wouldn't take him.
Dude,
I would skip him every time.
Look, Ferg and I are in a draft together, and the draft thing came out, and we were actually at Merrill's house, at the commission's house, and the draft order came out, and our friend Mike, who might join us at some point during the season, he got number 2, and we were like, now you have to choose, right? Do you choose a shit sandwich?
Yeah.
Shit sandwich, right?
Yeah, I would have skipped right over and gone JJ or Cup.
Yeah. No, I mean, or Derrick Henry, right?
I'm worried about him.
I mean, it's a half-point PPR, so it's not a point, right? So Derrick Henry makes a lot of sense, but I don't think Derrick Henry went until 6 or so.
Because he's going to have to hit the ball at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he will end up catching the ball at some point. Anyway, we'll get to all that if y'all want to talk about the fantasy. So Ferg, this league of record that we have here, what the goal is to expand to more teams. So the more listeners, people we have in the leagues, we're going to expand this to more teams. We are going to cut down the 16-team league, hopefully, to a couple of different 10-team leagues, right? Or 12-team leagues, however we decide to do it. Because we're not going to go to 100 teams, 30 teams, 1,000 teams. We're not going to do that. Because you can't do
we're going to make it fair.
So we're going to start breaking it up as more people want to join. But what we do is we had a draft on Sleeper, and obviously we have the show, and you can obviously chat in the league chat, make trades, and the people that are involved with this show, and our listeners, of course. They're going to be active members, right? So this is not going to be any kind of stagnant league where you offer a trade, you get no responses.
Right.
So trading is half of the fun. The draft is probably 60% of the fun. And then you got, free agents. You got shows like ours and a bunch of other podcasts that you could, or YouTube shows that you could see out there. And trading, right? That's what makes it fun. The banter, the trading. Now, what I would like to discuss for the first time, I've mentioned this to you guys. I have been seeing so many great chode punishments that I would like to discuss. Place payments, right? In one way or another, right? You finish last, there has to be consequences.
It should be.
There should be consequences.
It should be
100%. Not a trophy of a toilet like we have in Hoofnagel, which is fantastic, and the pictures that we have from it are great. But like I want you to stand on the fucking street corner and hold up a sign saying, "I suck at fantasy football."
I would have way too much. Okay, I'm in.
I want Lauren to stand in front of Ravens Stadium in a dress and makeup with a sign around her neck saying, "I suck at fantasy football."
I would totally do that. It's not that bad. It's easy to get there.
That would be
it's not easy to get there, right?
No, it's super easy. You're just like right off. Yeah, no, it's easy to get to. I could do that.
It's good times. Now, we need to discuss this off the air, so we'll bring it.
Oh yeah, because Jeff is going to be wearing some Dallas Cowboy dress.
Oh my gosh! Oh, you know what? I think more
out to dinner.
I'll never finish last.
How about this, Lauren? How about we get him a Kevin Falk Patriots jersey
that's my
Bill
boy.
Belichick sweatshirt cut off at
yes, with the gray. We'll get you the gray and cut it.
He has to wear it during a broadcast.
Like
Never.
that. I like that a lot. I have Mike Vrabel's jersey from the Patriots days. I think too.
That's fantastic. And maybe, just maybe, that Dolphins thing back there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a Super Bowl Patriots banner.
I like that with the Cowboys jersey on.
Maybe that's Jeff's punishment. Maybe there's specific punishments to people.
So we need a specific punishment for each league member.
I think so.
I will work on that and send that out in the chat.
I think so. So
yeah, I like that.
So so let me just put this out there. Ferg, you hate Duke as much as I do. And they're not relevant anymore in college basketball in my eyes. So you don't even need to make them in this conversation. You can create something else for me.
Well, I have Merle's punishment already.
What is that?
He has to wear a Odell Beckham jersey. The Giants Odell Beckham jersey. But a sign that doesn't say we suck it. But I have to say, we miss you and need you.
Well, I hope Merrill doesn't finish last for his sake.
I hope he doesn't finish last.
For his sake. All right. So now let's talk about some Thursday night football, right? So we got the matchup of all matchups.
We had
the Packers and the Chiefs.
We had the matchup of all matchups until the injury list came.
You talking about Keenan Allen? Hey,
I don't really know that Keenan Allen. I don't know about that.
Hold on, Lauren. We were just talking about you, man. We were just
talking about you.
You just missed your punishment.
Oh, really? What's happening? So
what's going on?
Ferg is going to. We were talking about chode punishments for our league for the show.
Yeah.
And whoever finishes last, Ferg is going to come up with individual punishments.
I want to help them.
Not like a league punishment, but like for you, Merrill, for example.
Cater to you.
To you.
Your punishment was wearing an Odell Beckham jersey with a sign around your neck that says, "We miss you and need you."
That and is then also, I'm going to add to it. Then I'm going to get him a MAGA hat. Put that on too.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
That's your punishment. Write that one down.
That's your punishment.
I'm about to
so we have Lauren. We have the commissioner. I got to work on Clint. Apparently, I have to wear a Belichick hoodie.
Maryland, so
we don't have to worry about me finishing the last place. I mean,
that's what I say. You need to move on to somebody else. I'm not finishing.
I've never finished last in the league, so I feel like that streak won't dissipate this year. I told Ferg though, for my punishment for some odd reason, if I did finish last, that he can't include anything Duke because he hates them as much as I do, and they're irrelevant now in my eyes. So you got to work on that. All right, so Thursday night football. Merrill, you called in at the right point, man. We're talking about the matchup of all matchups. 54-point over under. Chiefs or favored. Okay.
Take the over.
No, I would definitely take the over unless the weather is going to be shit.
I feel like I don't know. Thursday night games are. I don't even like playing guys in Thursday night games. I feel like they're always
Thursday night. This is the AFC West Thursday night.
What is it?
Every AFC West game is going to be 40 to 45 points.
Is it in Kansas City?
There aren't going to be no defensive battles in the AFC West this year.
You just never know what the road team is going to do on a short week. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to have Keenan Allen.
No Keenan.
So that's number one. We know that's a fact. He's out, and he was domination nation when he was out there in week 1. 6 catches, 66 yards or 64 yards or something like that.
Yep.
And on 6 targets. And the Chiefs are favored by 4 in this game.
I think I'm just sick of hearing about the Chiefs is my problem.
I mean, yeah, but then Patrick Mahomes goes out there and throws 5
touchdowns. I don't know why.
Yeah.
With no wide receiver.
I don't know why. You're going to hear about that all year.
All year.
Yeah.
Like, the only person viable they have catching the football is Travis Kelce.
Like, let me ask you about this right here. So you say you're tired. I believe what has happened is we love Mahomes. I mean, Baker for being on TV every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, we have started to hate Mahomes for being on TV every 5 minutes. This man threw for 4,800 yards and 38 touchdowns last year.
I don't hate him. I'm just sick of the narrative.
They said he had a bad season.
I feel bad. Actually, I feel bad for him.
NFL put out their own ranking list and rated him number 5.
Look at who he lives with. I feel bad for that man.
All right.
I do. But it's just an old narrative.
That's like Deshaun. We're gonna keep it.
Well, we can talk about that.
We hate him white too.
Now look though. You all know Merrill, Ferg, you're Carolina fans. right? So Berg, and you're a Miami Hurricanes old school football fan, right? Yeah, exactly, Meryl. You see what I mean? Like, okay. Yep. So here's the thing about winners. People hate that shit, bro. People hate winners. So the more you win, the more shit they're going to talk about you. The more trash they're going to find on you.
Right. All right, so I would go with you on that. I would go with you on that, except my AFC team since 1997 has been the Patriots. And that does it's just something about the Chiefs that bugs me.
And people hate the fucking Patriots.
Oh, they do.
And people hate the Chiefs because the Chiefs have done what? Overtook the Patriots.
I don't care about that. I just get tired of hearing about them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I don't hate on them.
Lauren, look. Let me break something to everybody. I never have had an NFL team. My wife is from Houston. I root for the Texans because of her. I have played fantasy football for how many years, Meryl? 20.
Yeah, at least 2 decades. Yeah,
20 years. I don't have any specific team, right? So it's like I don't hate on anybody. You see it from an insider's perspective. You hate now seeing all the shit from the Chiefs.
I don't hate them. I get tired of it.
Same shit about the Pats, right?
Yeah. Oh no, totally.
Especially this guy right here.
It's an age thing because if you meet any kid that's 12 years old or under and starting to like football, they're either a Cowboys fan or their favorite player is Patrick. I mean, there is no in between. Their favorite player is Patrick, or they're just brought up in a Cowboys household.
I think that next year, though, I think in the next 4 years, I'm going to be saying the same thing about the Bills. I just don't like the on and on. Like, we got, like, how many times can they say Mahomes and Josh Allen's name in each broadcast? And they're not even playing each other. Okay, so it's just like, that's where I'm like, shut up.
In all fairness, Meryl, you have to stay out of this conversation because you are the only one here that does not care about the Patriots because they never beat you on the Super Bowl. So, but Lauren, because you're a Patriots fan, you don't see it from that angle every broadcast. Tom Brady.
Oh,
Tom Brady. So I'm not a hater, so I don't give a shit. But,
I love the man.
Doesn't care either way because y'all can't beat.
I'm a hater.
I love the man, but like but then who does he go to? He goes to Tampa Bay, and I have to hear about him even more. And it's like I watch him mess up my boys. So no, I get sick of Tom Brady too.
That's Patriot fans' fault because y'all really weren't Patriot fans. They were Brady / LeBron type fans who just jumped ship with the jersey. So now we have all these random people from the Northeast that claim to be Tampa Bay fans because they're Tom Brady fans,
which doesn't make
further spreads the disease down the East Coast. So we really hate him now.
Because the reason I love I love them with Drew Bledsoe. I love Belichick. He went to Annapolis High School. He went to coach the Navy. That's right down the street. I grew up in Annapolis. So for me, it's like a hometown guy. It's not the Brady. I mean, the Brady thing's awesome. Like, it's great when you're a quarterback. Like, what did Drew? It wasn't his thumb. He had like a embolism or something. But once he went down, I was like, man, we are screwed for the rest of the year.
If you're a Patriots fan, all of your opinions about what teams like are biased and skewed because you have no suffering. Oh my God, we got put out in the AFC Championship game. Oh my God.
Okay, but
this fan bases like this who have been waiting since 1984.
What team has my heart? What team has my heart? Tell me how that feels. Like,
but even they won a Super Bowl in the last When did the Saints win Super Bowl? 5 years ago?
2009, 2008.
Okay, 8. So
you won that was the best Super Bowl ever.
Years. You've been relevant. We're talking about the other 26 to 25 fan bases a year who start off in training camp already knowing we're irrelevant. With the exception of the Bengals, who just came out of nowhere. Pretty much all of us already know.
All right.
We're just all here talking shit.
Okay, look. You guys, we can have a Dolphins Pats love fest at some point if you want.
No, we gotta bring Ryan.
Let's circle this back to the Thursday night football game a little bit. Right. All right. So since we're going to bleed this into the fantasy segment, first let's talk about the game, and then let's start talking about the players that are relevant in the Thursday night football game, which honestly is all of them. All right. So but we can go over that in a few minutes. So the Chiefs are favored by 4. It's at home, obviously. This is the AFC West is responsible. I think the stat was for 60% of the games that had a 50-point over. in the NFL this year, which is, I mean, not surprising. You look at the teams in the AFC West, you got Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City, you got Justin Herbert and, San Diego / LA, you got Derek Carr and Devontae Adams in Las Vegas, right? And who am I missing? Oh, San Francisco. Yeah, you got Deebo Samuel. No, not San Francisco. Who?
Russell. We're talking about the AFC West.
Sorry, Broncos. So you got Russell Wilson and all of his weapons, and we can kind of talk about that as well. But you have one of the bigger over-unders at 54 points, and with a 4-point Kansas City advantage here. So obviously they're at home. We have some injuries with Keenan Allen, so I'm surprised it's not a little bit bigger, but I guess it's not bigger because Mahomes doesn't have much as far as threats go either. And I would think you would take the Chargers wide receivers over the Chiefs wide receivers in this game as far as fantasy goes. Am I right?
I don't know. I like Juju.
I don't know, bro.
The problem with the Chiefs that we saw last week is that they have too many fantasy wide receivers.
Yeah, he completed passes.
Everything that Tyreek was getting is getting spread to everybody who made the roster. And I think that just makes them more dangerous.
And you know what's crazy is that Kelsey is always going to get his touches, right? He's always going to get his bag, right? But I don't think anybody else had above a 15% target share, which is kind of crazy. But who are you going to throw? Valdez-Scantling, he looked okay. Juju looked okay. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire looked pretty good, right? Scored 2 touchdowns, fantasy relevant.
I think they threw a ball to everybody because it was such a blowout, though, too. It's insane.
Yep, he was the number 6 fantasy running back on the week. And so, he had a good game. I mean, what are you going to do? Even fantasy superstar and upcoming Isaiah Pacheco had 10 carries for 62 yards and a touchdown. So it really wasn't like anybody could do anything to stop anybody on the Chiefs. But the Chargers defense is much better.
Supposedly much better.
Yeah, it's much better. And you know who I think is sneaky is Gerald Everett. I think he's...
Yeah, I like him. I like him for DFS.
I like that number 7, man. I like that number 7 on him. I think
Palmer
that shit looks neat.
Who's that? No, Carter's 1.
Yeah.
So we just got to be Josh Palmer.
Yep, Josh Palmer. And see, again, is he a waiver wire pickup this week? We can talk about that in a little bit. So
I picked him up.
So what do you guys think about this matchup on Thursday night? What do you guys think we're going to see? Merrill, let's start with you, Commish.
I mean, I could go into kind of the way I've been thinking. I only watch the Thursday games to play DFS. So for folks that don't know how daily fantasy works, it's a one-shot deal where they have these showdowns and you get a salary cap and you have to pick players and you're playing against a whole bunch of people. There are 2 different platforms. There's DraftKings that's really popular. There's FanDuel. Yahoo has a platform, but it's $1 million is on the line. And folks, you put in, was it like $15 for one? Maybe the other one is like $9. So what happens when I watch the games, I try to tell myself what's the story in my head of how the game is going to go. And I only see 2 stories. The first story is the Chiefs roll, and Mahomes is the person that you want to put in that captain spot. That's, you have to pick who you think is going to score the most points. Put them in the captain spot. You get 1.5 for every point that they get. I see the Chiefs either winning and Mahomes has another big day. I think Palmer's a sleeper for the Chargers because the game script will be that the Chargers will be behind, so there'll be more throwing. Palmer's pretty cheap. I think he's only $7,000 on DraftKings, which won't make sense here. Yeah, I think he's only $7,000 on there.
That's still
which is a pretty good deal. I mean, typically a star player is going to be like $13,000-$14,000 out of a $50,000 budget. So for somebody,
what are you playing? We got, because my game's the highest is 9,000.
He's 9
on draft. No, on DraftKings that's the highest it goes is 9. It was like Jonathan Taylor's like 91. I know 9,100.
How much is D'Angelo Williams?
They play with a smaller salary.
I love D'Angelo Williams. I miss that guy.
No,
he was so awesome. That guy was so quirky.
So Merrill, let me ask
you. So here it is. So Pat, so on DraftKings, Mahomes is I'm looking at something else. Mahomes is 11,800. Herbert 11,200. Kelsey 11,000. Eckler 10,000. And then there's a drop to 9,000 for Mike Williams. And then everybody else is like 888. And,
so you see, it's different Thursday night. The weekend games, when there's more games, their prices are totally different.
Palmer's 5,000. Everett's 4,800. So the story in my head is like you play Mahomes in that captain spot, and then you try to make the rest of the lineup with people that receive passes from Mahomes. Kelsey may be too expensive, so you just go down the line and then put somebody cheap in there, maybe Pacheco. But the other storyline is the Chargers keep the game close. And I think, Clint, you said the expected score is like 54. So if they keep the game close, then maybe it's like a 25, or maybe it's like a 30-30.
Well, it's 28, 24, 29, 25, 30.
And whoever has the ball last is probably going to win. And in that case, Mike Williams is due for a bounce back game. So
he's the number one.
Yeah, I think he's
and Eckler.
A monster.
I mean, Eckler, So and you can get really cheap because they're giving like carries, like actually meaningful carries to like Sony Michel for whatever reason. So you can get away with.
Sony did well last year though, so it's like you never know with shit like that. You know what I mean? But let me ask you a question, Merrill. Would you put, because I don't do DFS, so for the people in the back, let's say, would you put Palmer because he's cheaper in the captain spot because he has a chance to outshine him instead of putting Mahomes? I'm just like
that's another strategy. That's another strategy. If you think there's going to be a player that is going to that a lot of people will not play, that's going to score a touchdown. Okay.
Well, then let me
that's a good strategy. You can put that person in the captain spot and then save a little bit of money, and then you can put high people in there. So you could take Pacheco if you think he's going to score a touchdown. Nobody's going to play Pacheco. No. Put him in the captain spot. If he scores, your lineup is so different than so many other people. It'll raise you up the board. So that's why.
I don't understand how people even figure, because like last weekend, because I do the Sunday games, and like people have Curtis. I'm like, who would have thought to put Curtis? Like they literally play enough lineups that they put these. I'm like, how would you have even thought that?
I played 30 lineups on Sunday.
I did 9, I think. Yeah, but I do like there's a bunch of $3, $5. Well, it's like $3, $5 games.
Yeah,
I won back all my money.
Yeah, I was up 120 and until Monday night, and I lost money on the stupid Broncos game because the story in my head didn't match. So
and I completely get that. I think a lot of people lost a lot of money on the game. But let me ask you a question. So, do you think that to me, the 54 points is super duper low?
Yeah, I think it's about 10 points too low.
I think it's low.
But I think what they're trying to bake in is that the Chargers are going to come to Missouri and be tired and get blown out. But it's only a 4.5.
I mean, 34-20. 34-20 would be. I could see that. I could see them scoring 20 and being down and scoring them 13 points late in the game.
Don't the Chargers have a better defense though this year?
Or it's 35-3 in the halftime, and then the Chiefs take the gas off and then the Chargers get a bunch of junk stuff because they're playing cloud coverage. It's like the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. Like when Cooper Rush came in, he was making some plays because the Bucs were like, we don't care.
Yep.
The only thing that I can see going wrong with that is any kind of injury to anybody on the Kansas City side makes this a close game, and Kansas City bringing in a new kicker this week. So that might
I hope he's not. Is he not playing?
Butker's not playing this week.
Mahomes has a injured left wrist
too. Mahomes has an injured wrist.
That means I got to do something. I have him in so many leagues.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into our top fantasy producers, since we kind of talked about some things already, and then a couple of waiver wire pickups that we're looking at. So I have Yahoo pulled up as far as fantasy top performers. I looked at Yahoo half point PPR. So do you guys want to go sleeper? Is Yahoo okay with you guys?
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So surprisingly, the number one fantasy player and score for the week was the Pittsburgh Steelers defense at 48 points.
Oh, that was I had them in a couple DraftKings. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure it was.
Steelers took that to the house.
Look, Jeff V, I do not doubt any of that. Like the Chargers defense is significantly improved. That over-under seems super low. I think both teams score over 30. I just don't see any way that it doesn't happen unless the weather changes and it's shitty weather. Like, I just can't see it. Like, it's going to be a shootout. It's been a shootout. It will never not be a shootout. It's going to be 38-36 or 42-37 or some odd-ass number like that. But it's going to be in the probably high 70s, low 80s if you ask me. So I don't know if you guys have any other opinions on that. But all right, so then you got Josh Allen, right? Everybody, you drafted Josh Allen as the number one quarterback in most leagues, and he performed. Right, he went in there. He threw for 3 touchdowns. He ran for 1. He did have an interception, right? If I'm not mistaken, or a fumble. I think he had one.
He had three turnovers in first half. He threw 2 picks.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, they got it like right back. They both of them threw.
So Joe Burrow took his title for the week. We'll talk about that later. He still scored some fantasy points. We'll talk about that later. All right. So then you have the surprise. I think you guys tell me the number 3 fantasy player overall with 35.9 points, half PPR. Who is it? Who's behind the curtain?
Curtis Samuel.
Nope. Merrill?
Barkley.
Nope.
Oh, that's right. Oh, it's not.
Barkley.
That's right.
I was gonna guess it was JJ.
No, it's Saquon. JJ was close. JJ had 35.2. And he was 4th. But holy crap. Now, Merrill, as a Giants fan, number 1, tell me how you feel about your new coach. Number 2, tell me how you feel about the 2-point conversion call.
So the plus is offensive line running. The running game was awesome because they created holes and he didn't have to. Yeah. Saquon didn't have to dodge 3 dudes before he got to the line of scrimmage. And so if we can continue to do that, that's awesome because he's motivated, he's healthy. I heard him on the Pivot podcast talking about how he was going to prove the haters wrong because people were acting like he was washed, and it was just injury that kept him out. So I was excited about that. The defense is challenging, and then Daniel Jones is still Daniel Jones, but we just made one more play than they did, man. I mean, it was it was 2 bad teams playing each other, and
that's true. 21-20.
It's the first time ever in Saquon Barkley's career that he's been over 500.
That's crazy.
Really?
That's crazy to even think about that.
Thanks, Odell.
Wow. Hence the jersey punishment.
Odell and Obama. The two, they always get blamed. Odell and Obama.
Is that money related, Merrill?
No, Odell ruined our focusing on him and that stupid focusing on his flashiness and no substance and that's just not what Giants football is. Good offensive O-line, good defensive line, good defense. Running timely throws. That's how we won. The 4 Super Bowls that we have.
Timely throws.
To touch on something Merle said about Saquon, though, they did open some big holes, but when they won the game on the 2-pointer. That was powered back
ballsy
1970s football.
That was ballsy.
Saquon put his ball down and went through 3 dudes.
He really did.
2-point. But I don't want to see him having to do that 10, 11, 12 times a game. Once or twice a game in a crucial moment, okay.
Ferg, let's not forget the very important point here. Their quarterback played at Duke. And that's
he's on the eternal ass list.
Every time. It's true. Every time. So
he's got nobody to throw to, though, man. We benched Tony for some reason. We don't like Kadarius Tony anymore.
Why did we bench Tony?
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Dable out or something?
Well,
because when he was healthy those last couple of games last year, even with Daniel Jones, I mean, he put on a decent show for a rookie that has coming off an injury with that shitty ass offensive scheme that they had. So I really had big hopes on him. I wish somebody would take
what I've heard about Kadarius Toney is he is this year in 2022 is the 2020 version of last year Brandon Ayuk, where everybody was hyping him up because he finished the 2020 up strong, and they hyped him up for 2021, and then he was trash until the last 6 or 7 games last year. So he's.
But I thought we confirmed that Ayuk was in Shanahan's doghouse because he really wasn't working hard. I hadn't heard anything terrible about Tony this offseason, as expected, as like we've heard about other receivers getting a touchdown. If he got anything, I missed it. So I really thought he was gonna come out and have a big day. Well, Daniel Jones isn't that dude. Like I said, I wish that somebody had some wasted six round pick or something that they would give for Galladay. I just want to see if Galladay still got it with a real quarterback, because he looks the part. Like if you had a receiver and you had to take a picture of one and send it to a dude that didn't know anything about football, the receiver would look like Kenny Galladay. Yeah. He would look just like him.
Okay, so let me ask you a question though, Merrill. So I know you made the comparison to IU. Kadarius Toney got 7 snaps, bro.
That's true.
7. That's 7. True. So are you giving the guy a chance? You know what I mean? So where Ayuk probably had 20% of the target share in his games that he was garbage. And well, I mean, can you really blame it on him or Jimmy Garoppolo? You know, I mean, but it's like you got to give the kid a chance to be able to knock him down. You know what I mean? So, like, I still believe in Kadarius Toney. I still believe in his fantasy value as a flex. Maybe in a couple of weeks, we'll see how it turns out. But again, the point remains: Daniel Jones is your quarterback, and you focus on the running game.
All right. Since we are almost out of time, yes. I want to. We are almost out of time. I want to stick on in this division, but I got to give props to somebody this week that everybody giving up on. Carson Wentz played a hell of a game.
I was gonna say something.
Holy cow!
Second, number 2 QB. Number 2 QB.
Pick him up. Pick him up in your leagues. He's
I don't know about
this weekend too. He's got Detroit this weekend.
I mean, if you lost Dak in a big enough league, you could do a lot worse than having to play Carson Wentz.
You'd be a lot worse than playing Carson Wentz.
You could have to play Baker.
But let's get it straight.
Flacco.
That Dotson is going to make it's going to change the game because he's a big junk ball catcher. You just throw up junk balls to him, man. He's going to catch a ton of them.
But let's be clear here. You don't have Dak Prescott, but he's still Carson Wentz. Okay? And he's viable until hopefully you don't need him anymore.
But I like Carson if all I have to worry about is imaginary fantasy football.
No, exactly.
Like I'm not going to lose my job because he threw 3 picks. I just need you to throw 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's all I need you to do.
Right.
Really.
He threw for 4,000 yards last year, and he was 27 touchdowns and 7 picks.
He did.
That's a pretty decent year.
It's a good year.
I like Carson.
4,000 yards and 27 touchdowns.
You'll be happy.
Skip's head's going to explode.
All right. So
real
quick, before we get off the fantasy train, and
we got to get before you go too far. We got to get this Jeff V guy on here because some of his takes. I'm watching over here in this corner. He's taking the Chargers over the Chiefs.
Yep.
Somebody's overhyped. I'm going to assume he's being.
I don't think that Wentz will do it all season. Right now.
Well, no, we already know Wentz is
but he's
solid for bye week.
He's our Fitzmagic. He's our Fitzmagic. He's going to be hot for 4 games. And
but
the other 13 are going to suck.
If you're DFS, I'm almost positive they play Detroit this weekend. Like that, I'm doing a Carson Wentz stack.
Wentz Samuel? Wentz Dotson?
With who? With Dotson?
I'm gonna do. Yeah, and I have like such a gay girl crush on McLaurin. I'm gonna put him in there just because I have him in like all my leagues. That's my
I
boy.
wouldn't know what he looks like if he walked in front of me today with a shirt that said "I'm Terry McLaurin." I don't know what the dude looks like.
He looks like DJ Moore's little brother.
Like either, but I just love him. Like
I have no idea DJ Moore's little brother. That's what he looks like.
Actually, now I got to look what Terry McLaurin looks like.
All right, so real quick, Ryan Hayes asked earlier, Carter and Landry for Elijah Moore and Ayuk, and I assume it's Michael Carter. I assume.
In a half PPR.
Like, are you guys assuming it's Michael Carter as well,
I'll assume Michael Carter.
Yeah. All right. So if that's the case, I would say whoever has the Elijah Moore and Brandon Ayuk deal gets the better end of the stick.
He's a good-looking dude.
So
I mean, I kind of hate those kind of questions because I don't have the context with the rest of your roster. Are you getting Michael Carter as your flex because you have Jonathan Taylor and Saquon or something like that? I mean, but if you're telling me you get Michael Carter because you need him as your one.
I agree here, Ferg, on the context. I mean, Michael Carter did have a really good week last week. Dude had 7 catches, right? I mean, he had 50 yards rushing and 7 catches for another 30 or 40 yards or 50 yards or whatever it is. I think he had over 100 total yards.
The way he looked and the way Salah was talking, I think we might have to pump the brakes on the Breece Hall hype train for just a second.
Breece Hall still looked okay.
I don't think he's going to give Carter's job away. Carter's going to have to lose.
He's going to have to lose it. And he should have to lose it. The dude did nothing but perform.
It's a Javonte, Melvin Gordon type situation.
All over again.
Yeah. And what a coincidence. Javonte, Carolina, Michael Carter, Carolina. We have a tandem backfield here of guys that dominated in college that are taking that. Javonte is going to be, and I don't know if anybody here will disagree with me, he is going to be a dominant fantasy football player.
Jay does not agree with you.
He will take over the number 1 spot at the end of the year. 100% Gordon will be out. He'll take over the number 1 spot.
I don't know, man. I mean, Gordon had 12 carries, man. Javonte had 7 on Monday.
I know, but who outscored fantasy-wise?
Yeah, but that's because Russell was doing a bunch of that dump-off bull crap. That's not happening again.
They're trying to not wear him out, too.
I don't know.
I don't think they expected to lose that game. I think they thought that game was going to be a giveaway.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So they were like, let's hold back on Javonte. Yeah.
They thought they was going to lay down. They did.
Yeah.
I mean, the league really didn't do him any favors sending him back.
Pete Carroll's gum-chew himself, pat on the back.
It wasn't like he got traded after the season, after the schedule came out.
Yeah.
They knew.
The NFL.
They could have put that at the end of the year. That Browns, Panthers, Broncos, Seahawks, that's a bunch of bullshit right there.
Wasn't it?
Don't start off a year like that.
And then when Deshaun Watson comes back,
bro, that's what I was about to talk about.
Who does he play?
Watson has to play the Texans?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let me show you something real quick. Go to Twitter and look at the timeline of all the former Seattle Seahawks players that were roasting Russell Wilson.
They hate Russell.
They hate him.
I never would have thought that.
With a passion. He's a herb. I mean, he's a corny herb.
Hate Russell.
He's a herb.
And if you say you hate Russell, then you're a hater because women love Russell.
Dude wins, bro. People hate winners, man.
Gordon gonna lose long term. Williams will get more touches as the season
that's
goes.
for sure.
Definitely agree with that.
I don't even think that's.
I think it was just that they thought it was a giveaway, and they were like, "Let's not burn him out and have him tear something night 1."
Yeah, Javonte is that guy. He led the league in broken tackles last year with half the carries of everybody else.
I picked him up in a lot of leagues.
You should.
If Bradley Chubb is back though, and Surtain looks like the Surtain that I think he looks like,
he's a big ass.
I'm not gonna cry for Denver too bad. They're gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right. They just need to.
Yeah,
if I was on that defense,
I get it. And
he took credit for everything, and he just was holding the keys, man. That defense was MVP. And then he threw that pick. He threw that pick against the Patriots. That's the part where they wanted him to be the hero so bad.
Malcolm Butler.
And then
I literally had tears. I was so happy because I was crying because every other Super Bowl we play in, what happens, Meryl? What happens? Yeah. So I'm watching that thinking it's the Giants shit all over again. And I had tears because I get so upset. And then that happened. And I was like, are you serious right now? Marshawn Lynch is right there.
If you go back and think about that last Super Bowl moment, though, he had to throw a pick because there is no way in that huddle that he had to believe they were going to call a pass play.
No.
Nobody in that huddle, pass block and run block, had to believe that Marshawn wasn't getting the ball. When they got that play, they all had to be.
I don't even think Malcolm Butler knew that he caught the ball.
Is he going to check out of this play? Are we just trying to get a look so we can still turn around? And then they actually ran the play. I was like, wow.
All right.
They deserve to lose.
Hey, you guys, we've ran over time.
They said we got to go home.
No, I do want to talk real quick. Give me you guys top fantasy waiver wire pickups, and I want to say start it off with other than Jeff Wilson.
Okay, I was gonna say Palmer, Curtis, Logan Thomas.
Oh, hold on a second. Let's stop there, Lauren. What about Taysom Hill, who's on quarterback / tight end?
I can't do that because It's like so random.
He's going to get 10 touches a game.
Maybe, but you never know. Like they could also, I don't know how like Dennis Allen runs for like Sean Payton, but I don't know how they're going to use him yet. So I don't know.
Dude had how many points?
Probably more than Noah Fant.
Right, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Jeff, I can't believe James Robinson wasn't drafted in your draft.
That too.
So I think he was drafted in more than 70% of leagues. I don't think it was quite 75, but more 70% of leagues. So that's kind of surprising. But good on you for picking up James Robinson because
Carson Wentz.
He does nothing but score, bro. He does nothing but Wentz is
Gerald Everett, I think, was a pretty good pickup.
Yeah,
that's it this week.
That's who I went with.
Burkhead, Rex Burkhead is like somebody that's not going to screw you.
He's not going to screw you. At the very end, I was going to say something about Rex Burkhead.
I would keep an eye on Ingram.
How about DeAndre Carter tomorrow night with the Chargers? I'll give you that one. And I'll give you, for those of us who have to play in IDP leagues, I'll give you Minka.
Yeah.
Pick up Minka if you can. You can play Minka in your field.
If you're in IDP league.
Jeff,
Elvis Duvernay.
Jags fan. Yeah, no, I get it, bro. Like it's been a rough go since Mark Brunell, man, and what Keenan McCardell and what's that Jimmy Smith Jr. or Jimmy Smith, right? And what's MJD, right? It wasn't that the running back on
this? It's really been
Fred Taylor
Jacksonville since Ramsey called out Josh Allen. That's really how it's really been downhill since that moment. Right
and then you had
called Josh Allen trash.
And then you had the Blake Bortles incident. Jeff, my daughter was born at Shands Hospital right off 95, so I'm very, very familiar with Jacksonville. Her mother is from Yulee / Fernandina Beach, which I'm sure you are familiar. So, all right. So, So anybody have anything else? We are 10 minutes late, but that's okay. It's way better than we were last year. So does anybody have anything to wrap it up at all?
Well, don't forget to talk. We have the casting call right for male hotties and female hotties.
We had
the Joy Molly. Yeah,
we're looking for our Joy Taylor.
Yes. I also feel like you should say what's happening next week. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
this is so cool.
No, it is cool. So for everybody that's listening, we're going to have a series of guests come on. We're going to spread them out throughout the year. And the idea is to have people on the show that are involved with the NFL or have played in the NFL.
I'm geeking out.
Next week we have a pretty big one coming in, and it's personal connection of mine. I live in the Chapel Hill area of North Carolina, and so I have a lot of friends that do a lot of things sports wise. And we are having Eric Ebron on the show next week. He is a free agent at the moment, former Pittsburgh Steeler.
I'm going to need his autograph too because I'm going to geek out.
Former Indianapolis Colt, former UNC Tar Heel, and one of, just so you guys know in advance, one of the best dudes I know. And so it's going to be a really, really good time. We're going to be talking to Eric, picking his brain for a few minutes about the NFL. And the ins and outs, and we'll have some questions or whatever. We'll just kind of free ball.
Can we ask him whatever we want?
You can ask him whatever you want to.
Oh man, and I got to do this in a wedding dress.
If he does not answer,
or in a dress,
then it's okay. Oh yeah, it's going to be dress and makeup. It's going to be dress and
makeup. And then I didn't think about that before I knew Eric.
You cannot come and disappoint here.
Oh, man. I don't have a tiara, but I can do the makeup and dress.
Yeah, makeup and dress.
And then I got like the Saints beads on too.
Yeah, no, and the Saints beads are fine.
These are like from New Orleans.
But we're gonna have, and a lot of them are former UNC players because you know what, we have access in this area.
I think Eric Ebron's awesome.
And we
I used to draft him all the time.
Oh, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Dude was, dude was what, 900 yards a year or whatever.
Yeah.
He had that 1 year with the Colts that was like 1,100 yards. And
I'm getting ready to buy a plane ticket to come down there so I can hang out with. Like, this is like so cool.
Well, he lives in Houston right now, but he does come back for Carolina games. And if for some odd reason he does not get picked up, which he had a few tryouts, then he was actually going to be up here in a few weeks, and we're going to go out and play some golf. And if he does that, then what I will do is I will get an interview on the golf course, and
I'll come drive the cart.
We can throw it down.
Yeah, no,
YouTube channel. So
you can't miss it next week, folks.
Yeah, no, can't miss it next week. This is gonna be good. I don't know how long we're gonna have him, but we're gonna keep him as long as we can. And ask him whatever. So viewers, send in questions if you have any. Don't be assholes. That's all I ask. Because he's a friend of mine, and I will not read any of that dumb shit on the air or put him in a position to answer any stupid shit. So please do not do that. So that's my only ask. So anybody else have anything else that they want to do? Ferg, I would like for you to put our social media shit, or if Meryl has it or Danya has it, whoever has it, to put it in the chat so people can copy and paste that to their browsers, and so they can get the social media and whatnots. Right? So anybody else have anything?
That is it. That is
Word. Well, the IG is Fantasy Football Show with No Name, right?
Yes.
So start there. Follow us there on IG, Fantasy Football Show with No Name. And if for some odd reason that does not come up, Meryl, how can they find you on the IG or the Facebook?
I mean, so yeah, you also, the show is kind of produced by, NC100. So you can always go to We Are NC100 on YouTube. We are NC100 on Instagram. That we'll get the message to the folks.
Yep. All right. Awesome. All right, Lauren.
We probably need to make a couple graphics and stuff for like this part. We have some graphics so people know how to follow.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope. So this is
cool. Glad y'all are back, man.
Yeah, man. This is gonna be a dope time, man.
Actually, just to jump in and correct the Mark Zuckerberg harassed us all summer and tried to put us in jail.
Yes, that's true.
So on IG, we're actually at the New Football Show with No Name.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you. Thank you for the correction. Thank you for the correction. Yeah. All right. So if nobody has anything else, it was great seeing you guys. We did run over a little bit, but that's okay for the first episode. Please send in your questions if you have any questions for Eric. Come next Wednesday. And the IG group is the New Fantasy Football Show with No Name.
The New Football Show with No Name.
Interact, bro. And until next time, the champ here with the commish, Ferg, and Miss Lauren, who you'll see in a dress next week.
Y'all. Have a great football weekend.